Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting, Council Chambers, City Hall, Tuesday, January 24th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Prior to starting the meeting, we just want to reiterate our thoughts and our condolences to the Pozzebon family and also to the City of Merritt. The citizens of the city, all of the employees on such a great job that they did in making that day a very, very memorable day for our city and for the Pozzebon family. So I've been asked on behalf of council just to extend our thanks to the whole city and to council and to all of our employees for an absolutely wonderful job. And again, our very, very heartfelt condolences to the family. Moving on, we have a late item that we would like to add to the agenda. It will be 8.6 to be added, and it's a request that council move that Councillor Norgard and Brown would like to attend a scientific biosolids forum in Kamloops on February the 22nd and 23rd, 2017. Motion to add it. Move. Seconder. Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. Don't let me forget, guys. Adoption of the minutes. 4.1. Recommendation that the minutes of the special council meeting held on Tuesday, January the 10th, 2017 be adopted. Moved. Seconded. Any errors, any omissions, any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. 4.2, recommendation that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on Tuesday, January the 10th, 2017 be adopted. Moved, seconded. Any errors or omissions? Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. On general matters, we have a delegation this evening. Nomination for Craft Hockeyville 2017. Kelly Langlois, is that the proper way to pronounce it, Kelly? Yeah, and so would you please come forward to the mic? And if you would introduce yourself. If you push a button there, the mic will come on. And if you'd be good enough to introduce the three women that are with you, Kelly. It's
sure.
All yours.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Kelly Langlois. This is Sandy Hostrauser, Debbie Morton, and Teresa Sabrandi. A little nervous. Not anymore. We're a small committee, just kind of getting organized. We are nominating Merritt to be Craft Hockeyville 2017. And Lumbee last year won it, and out of the last 10 years that Craft Hockeyville has been going, there's been 3 communities out of BC that have won. So we feel that Merritt could put in a good bid, so to speak, and we are asking for, it's in my email here, there's cost for an advertisement to advertise Craft Hockeyville to let the community know that we would like them to vote for Merritt, obviously, when the voting period starts. There is a cost of $375 plus tax and e-fee. I'm not sure how much is, if it's GST or PST or both or what have you. And we would like to ask for that money to advertise in the local paper.
That's it?
For now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sandy, did you want to add anything? Or?
No, I think she got it all covered.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Councillor Brown?
I'm glad to see you're attempting this. I was up in Terrace when Terrace won the Hockeyville, and it had to be a community event. And what they were holding in that time frame was a 24/7. However, number of hours those polls were open, they had constant people on a room filled with phones, and they were texting the whole time or voting or whatever you do. But good luck. I hope we do well.
Thank you.
Councillor Getz.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Sandy. I know Sandy from the Ambassador days. So I know that when Sandy gets involved with something, it's usually a pretty good going concern. And so I guess Kelly or Sandy, I'm aware of Hockeyville, and I know to a certain degree what happens. Now, I know you've asked for some funding, so what's the next step that happens once the funding happens and we start advertising? Is there a blitz thing? I know you have to show your hockey, your hockey medal most of the time, like people wearing sweaters and signs and all that kind of stuff. So how does this progress? Because I know for a fact that if you do get on board, every Saturday night they start listing the finalists. And the whole idea, even if you don't win, is to get your name on the finalist list, and the voting works down. So have you thought that far on how you're going to, what the plans are to make us unique and what to be involved, or, like streaking through Central Park with a shirt on or something? I'm just curious. I mean, it's got to do something.
Really, I'm going to try to get a hold of the lady from Property Guys, because I know she's a great photographer, and I thought I'd talk with her with us putting an ad in the paper about bringing people to town, come downtown, get a picture taken at Spirit Square with everybody with jerseys and that on it. And then we're also going to talk to the computer place here in town, see if he can set up a computer there for people to go in and vote if they don't have access to voting. And we're just going to keep working at seeing who else we can get on to set up some programs there and have voting there for them.
Councillor Baker?
Thank you, ladies. I've been talking to Callie about this for over the month. Every time I see her at Save On, you did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm really happy you came, because I was hoping that a group would have come to us on our 40th anniversary, because I thought that would be the perfect year for us to have done this, but it didn't happen. So I'm really happy that you're spearheading it. As Councillor Getz said, please keep us informed as to where you are in the process, what we can do to help. I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that the four of you has started the ball rolling, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, questions? Councillor Brown?
I can probably set you up with somebody from Terrace who has run the program. I can give you that name. I just have to ask permission from her first, but.
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks.
Kelly and Sandy, on your request for finances, is it time sensitive? Like, do you need that right away, or, because council, normally, we don't, when you make a request, we usually thank you for your presentation and deal with it later. But if there is a time sensitive situation, we can do something different. So it doesn't have to happen tonight? Like,
No, we don't have to have it tonight. The nomination period is actually not until March. So if we could have it by maybe the end of February to have the
that's okay.
paper.
No, I just wanted to
Yeah.
know if it was time sensitive, but
No, it's not. Thank
we
you.
got lots of time. Good, okay. And thank you. That's an important thing, and I'm sure Linda can help you. Councillor Christopherson? Shoot. No, I'm okay. I'll remember. And if I forget, it's a senior moment, so.
I'm just curious, what percentage of the population do you really need to get out? Any idea? Like, I mean,
Everybody.
well, everybody is shoot for the sky, yeah.
Yeah, we want everybody.
But I'm trying to think back to any of the other little towns that have won.
Well, Lumbie's
That
smaller than us.
Do they shoot for 50% of the population, or 75%? Or,
How about
or do they
75 to
actually get
85?
100%?
75 to 85 would be good. Sure.
You want everybody in town on board this thing?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, so we'll do our best.
Councillor
Thank you.
Getz.
So, one of the reasons I watched the Terrace a bit is because I used to live up in Stewart and play hockey in Terrace. And I do believe at some point the committee needs almost a total buy-in from the committee, or the community. And then what ends up happening is the rest, then that community now has to candidate across the country to get the rest of Canada to vote for them. And that's how I kind of remember it, because I was living here but voting for Terrace, because I didn't want to see those guys back in Ontario get it. So that's how I remember kind of went and Ron McLean explained pretty much how the whole system worked for Hockeyville. And I do believe with a community that doesn't give at least 90% of buy-in, they're ejected almost immediately. So just,
We'll shoot higher then.
oh, yeah, 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and yeah, we'll, I know that Deb and Teresa and Sandy and whatnot at the hockey games, they're doing stuff on it, and all three of them, as Mike has already said, are doing a fantastic job for hockey in general and for the Centennial. So we'll keep talking about it, Callie and Sandy, and hopefully we'll vote, right?
Yes.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you very, very much. Moving to unfinished business, 6.1, Tourism and Economic Development Committee member, file 0575. Recommendation that Jeffrey William Schultens be appointed to the Tourism and Economic Development Committee. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. Point 7, bylaws, Fire Rescue Department Establishment Amendment Bylaw. 7.1, Draft City of Merritt Fire Rescue Department Establishment Amendment Bylaw Number 2017. Fire Chief, January 10th, 2017, report file 3900.1904. Recommendation that the City of Merritt Fire Rescue Department Establishment Bylaw Number 2219-2017 be read a first time. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Recommendation that the City of Merritt Fire and Rescue Department Establishment Bylaw 2219-2017 be read a second time. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Recommendation that the City of Merritt Fire Rescue Department Establishment Bylaw Number 2219-2017 be read a third time. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. Point 8, new business, license of occupation. License of occupation, 1201 McMillan Road, file 2360.17. Recommendation that the license of occupation agreement for the portion of dedicated highway created by Plan KAP 11069 known as 1201 McMillan Road be approved, and that the mayor and chief administrative officer be authorized to sign on behalf of the city. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. 8.2, Tourism and Economic Development Committee recommendation. 8.2, draft minutes, Tourism and Economic Development Committee, January 11, 2017, meeting file 0575. Recommendation from Tourism and Economic Committee to Council that Council appoint a liaison to the Downtown Voice. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. Visitors Information Booth, 8.3, 2016 year-end report for visitors information booth at Bailey House, Tourism and Economic Development Manager, January 16th, 2017 report, file 2240.48. Recommendation that council accept the 2016 year-end report for the visitors information booth at the Bailey House. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Brown?
Looking at the report, and I'm talking about our position on, what is that travel site? I can't think of the name. Anyways, good thing and bad thing. It's good that we have a really good reputation at the Bailey House and that we're getting good reviews on that TripAdvisor. On the other hand, is that the best we can do in Merritt for an information booth? I mean, there's got to be places in Merritt that also have great reputations that with stays that are longer than a day. I just think it's a good and bad thing. The other thing I wanted to add was there is surplus last year of about 16,000, and I didn't see that added into the income. I didn't see it added anywhere in this particular budget. Could I maybe ask through the CAO that this issue be looked into? Just, I don't know what's happening to the surplus. That's 2 years in a row now that I don't know where the surplus went. There may be a balance sheet, but I haven't seen it.
Mr. Boven?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Councillor Brown. I am in receipt of your questions, and I'm seeking answers, and we'll get those to you. And what I do when we reply to your email, we'll just CC all of Mayor and Council.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Baker?
Thank you, Worship. Good job again. I have a question. I'm not sure who can answer it. I was hoping maybe Sandy from the Bailey House would be able to answer the question. Sandy? A question for you. On your overhead, your cost to purchase items for resale is about $10,000, and then your income from local sales products is $39,000. Would you take the 10 off the 39? Is that the same thing? So you made $28,000 on sales profit? Yes? Okay, great. And the other one is $10,000 from the garage sale. Are all those garage sale items donated? Yes. Okay, that's great. Wow, this is an example of a group who really wants to make money and you know, I don't know how to say it, but I mean, we're always asking groups that come to us for grants and aids, et cetera, to, you know, what are you doing to help yourselves? And I think this is an excellent example of a group that helps themselves as well as coming to say, here's what we've done. So good on them. Thank you.
Any further comments? Yes, a job very, very well done. Much appreciated. You're helping to keep Merritt on the map and also making us that much more known throughout the country. So please pass on to all of your volunteers there. Thank you ever so much. All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. 8.4, Budget Position Report for 2016, Pre-Audit and Capital Project Status Report. The Budget Position Report 2016 Pre-Audit and 2016 Capital Project Status Report as submitted. Director of Finance and IT, January 18th, 2017 report. File 1700. Recommendation that Council receive the 2016 Budget Position Pre-Audit and the 2016 Capital Project Status Report as submitted. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Brown?
I've got a number of questions, and I want to start off by saying I do have a lot of questions, and I need to let you know that I am not questioning our finance manager. It's because she has been so diligent in getting this information out to us, and we can see it in this format, that I'm even able to ask those questions. So I'm going to be hopefully asking some tough questions, and they are no reflection on Ms. Thiessen. That's where I'm starting. You mentioned in your report that we are approximately $1 million overestimated in our budget. I started off 2 years ago by saying we are $1 million over in our budgets, and my position then was that we didn't need to go to our public and increase our taxation because we had the money. It was just over budgeted. 2 years in a row now, and we're right back to the same position. So I understand that you're going to be adjusting the budget depending on what you look at for the reasons, but I can't help but state that if we budget, even time-wise, if we budget these amount of projects, 10 million's worth of project, and we end up with only spending 3.5 million, there's got to be a time lag, a staff time lag. Something has to be not working right in order for us not to get that many projects done. If we thought we could, maybe we overestimated. On the other hand, that's one heck of a huge amount of expectation that didn't happen. there are some things I think we can do differently, and one of the major things that you mentioned is that we were really over budgeted in the staffing area. And I need to say one more time, an FTE budget will protect us against overages in the staffing area. We need to look at an FTE budget. We need to incorporate that in, and it's not going to happen this year because there isn't enough time. I get that. Because that's going to take much longer than just the next few months to throw that together. But I would really like to see that worked on this year so that next year we can incorporate it and that our budgets are decreased, not to the amount that senior managers are limited in what they're capable of doing or able to do, but limited so that we don't run this kind of overage in our budget. I'm hoping that when you have to go in and readjust the budget statement, that it's going to take you beyond our February 7th date, because I'm not here for February 7th, and that's when we're doing budget deliberations. And I'm hoping that we have a revised date for that so that I can be here for that. Even the question, they're not just questions, they are comments on the budget. The question is, what are we going to end up doing about it? And I guess hopefully we can get to that eventually. The question will be adjusting the budget, and how much budget are we going to adjust? That can't be answered tonight, I don't think.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you. Nicola Valley Median Landscaping, 8.5, Nicola Valley Median Landscaping Director of Engineering and Development, January 16th, 2017. Report, file 1220, recommendation that council resolves to award the tender for the landscaping of the Nicola Valley Avenue medians to Sierra Landscaping in the amount of $170,275.91, including applicable taxes. Moved, seconded, discussion. Councilor Baker?
Yes, it's not a question, just a comment. Is there any way we can put a copy of what it's going to look like in the paper on the city page so that the residents can see the kind of concept that's going to be put there?
Mr. Boven?
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll look to see if we have a rendering. We certainly have engineering detailed level drawings. I'm not sure if they would give the residents an idea of the look and feel, but we can see what we have and do that, sure.
Councilor Prow?
Basically, my question, thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Bowman, basically, I'm of the same opinion. I would like to see this landscaping plan before I approve it, at least, because there's been issues with landscaping in the past, overabundance of plants and the wrong kind of sprinklers. So, and I don't know if this is the same company that you've used in the past. It sounded like it might be. So I would like reassurance of what it's going to look like, and if it has to be the full engineering plans, so be it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Brown?
We are rolling over $642,000 in the whole project of medians and landscaping. That can you, and this is only $170,000 of that. What are we going to do with the other 400? Do we know?
Thank you, Your Worship, through to Councillor Brown. We have another project that we're also putting through, which is the Vote Street Corners.
Right.
We have not tendered that yet, so we don't know what the cost of that is. But there will be money left over, for sure.
What is your guesstimate at this point?
I think it was around 190,000.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. 8.6, late agenda item. Councillor Norgard and Brown would like to attend a scientific biosolids forum in Kamloops on February the 22nd and 23rd, 2017. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Prowl?
Being on the Environment Committee, I was rather interested in this, but I didn't put my name in. Is it too late to do that?
Probably not.
Okay.
What's your name?
What's my name? Councillor Prowell.
Friendly amendment to add Councillor Prowl. So moved, seconded. All those in favor of the amendment signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Okay. On the main motion, any further discussion? All those in favor signify. Opposed, carried, and so ordered. Thank you.
I want that recorded.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any notices of motion? Reports from council. Who do we pick on tonight? Councillor Christopherson.
It's been a busy time. On January 11th, I attended two meetings, one for the Theatre Society and one for the Tourism and Economic Development. Great meetings. I think Will George has been doing a great job of bringing meetings and information into town.
Sorry.
Do I have to start again? Same as before. January 12th, attended a business retention and expansion workshop. That went from 9 till 2, and again, that was something that was very interesting to see how we can do things better in the city, learn from others. January the 14th, I attended a Vision Merit meeting, and then, as most of council, Ty Posabon's funeral, which has been alluded to already. It was a staggering loss to his family and to this community. Ty touched many, many lives and will be sorely missed. On January 16th, we had the budget overview and a presentation by BC Assessment. January the 17th, a visit to Gillis House, still checking the place over to see where I'm going to be put eventually someday. And January the 18th, coordinated a committee meeting for the Canada 150 project. And this is to coordinate planning for Canada 150 activities. There were over 22 people that attended this particular meeting. And since that time, there's been lots and lots of tentative plans developing and so on. The intent isn't for this committee to organize Canada 150. It's basically a think tank bringing in ideas, trying to coordinate events and so on, and to make sure that everybody in Merritt knows that Canada 150 isn't just about July the 1st. It's about activities all throughout the year, kind of a common theme to do with Canada's 150th birthday. There's lots of traditional events that happen in Merritt that with a little bit of tweaking, they can promote Canada and its history. I'm very pleased with the number of groups and committees that came out. CONATE would like to do something, Bailey House, the Museum Association, Interior Savings, Love to Dance, the Arts Council, Tracker Sports, Merritt Country Run, Nicola Valley Explorers, Nicola Valley Community Band and their choir, Vintage Car Club Tour, School District 58, the Royal Canadian Legion, the Cadets, Community Band, Logger Sports Show, Art Walk, Base Coast. We'll have something to do along that line, Rock and River, the Rodeo Weekend. The city is bringing in Dr. Von Hooligan's Circus. And a lot of the city's events are taking place with Canada Day. So there'll be the Legion and the flag raising and the community band and speeches. A Canada Day birthday cake. Movie in the park, fireworks, music in the park, International Youth Day, Merrick Library, add a cultural day, churches may be getting involved, Scott Wood's fiddle band, Stephen Palmer, and the list is just going on. My computer is going ping all the time now because people are starting to get excited about joining together and making Canada 150 a major activity in town, and we hope that it'll serve to bring in tourists as well as to entertain our own people. So keep your ears open, and the next meeting for the committee is February the 1st, Wednesday, over at the Civic Center, room 2, and anybody is welcome. Bring an idea and be prepared to do the job yourself, because like I'm saying, the committee is not doing this, it's just collecting in what people are doing. So plan hopes to be a good thing. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Worship. It's a hard act to follow, that one, Councillor Christopherson. I have been kind of ill the last couple of weeks, so I've been staying away from people as not to pass on my germs, and I think I did a good job with council because no one here is sick. So I did make the business retention expansion workshop, the first half of it, and then also the budget meeting, and I have to thank our Director of Finance and IT. I think she's doing an excellent job. I'm actually looking forward to our budget meetings, which is a strange thing to say. And just one comment, and this is not... Sorry.
Okay, we don't need that glass anymore,
Yeah,
Dave.
this is not a slight, because I know Councillor Brown is with a fine-tooth comb looking over our budget. But we made a conscious effort a few years ago that we would try to keep our raise in taxes as low as we possibly could and evenly as we could, so as not to have fluctuations. And I think that the unfortunate loss of the taxes that we're going to be not getting from Tolko is a good example of why it's a good reason why we have a little bit of surplus, because I don't know the actual percentages, but we possibly could have a 7 to 9% increase in our taxes because of that loss. If we go into it with a bit of a cushion, if you will, we may be able to keep our taxes down and still be able to give the community and the city of Merritt what they need and what they deserve, and not pull things away because we don't have the finances.
Thank you. Councillor Getz. Dave, or Councillor Chief, if that glass hasn't been used, can I bring it here, and I promise I won't break it? Do you swear? No, I won't swear. Thank you very much. Councillor Getz.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we'll start off with the gas buddy like we always do. Merritt today, $1.15.9. Kelowna, $1.16.8. Vernon, $1.16.9. Kamloops, $1.10.9. Vancouver, $1.15.9. And Prince George, 99.9. World oil today, 53.3. Vancouver went up 13 cents on a discussion from a insider, a petroleum insider, and then when they found out it was a bunch of BS, it went right back down 13 cents less than a week later. So right about now, we should start to see the comments about how oil is now going to be $1.50 by summer. That's usually when it starts to happen, and of course then everybody flips out and raises their prices. So keeping an eye on the gas, and there still is a world glut. OPEC still is cut back a little bit, but not enough, and Iran has now come on board. So we do have a world glut. So anything that you hear about high prices in the summer is propaganda. And keep your foot to the floor on that. January the 11th, attended the Tourism and Economic meeting. January the 12th, Social Housing meeting. And on the 16th, of course, the budget. Also on the 16th, I went to the job fair, and I went through, and I was quite surprised to see Tolko at the job fair. I was a little dismayed. I thought, wow, that's interesting, close the mill and then hold a job fair. But I'm sure that kind of struck people funny as well. I'm assuming they had already paid for their spot before it happened. So January the 18th, environment meeting. And I just want to take a moment to express my condolences to the Posbon family, but also there's another person that we need to talk about, and that's Mr. Ken Moyes, who passed away. Ken was he was born on August the 25th, 1923, and passed away December 21st, 2016. And he was a World War II vet. He was a businessman, and I do believe he was one of the last 11 or 12 World War II vets still alive in the country. And he was a mover and shaker of the community, and he'll be greatly missed. And I think it would take, we should just recognize that he has passed, and for Peter and Jane and the kids and all those who knew him, my condolences to the passing of Mr. Moyes. I knew him a little bit because Rick Cromarty's a good friend of mine, and he was living there, and I would go over, and I didn't know him enough to know a whole lot, but he was a really good man, and the community has lost a true pioneer on the passing of Mr. Moyes. So condolences to the Moyes family. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
I too went to the workshop on business retention and expansion, and I think it was a well put together event, and I think we got a lot out of it. I met with Tom Reynolds from Futures as the liaison to the board or the council, and I'm now going to be invited to their board meetings, and I start tomorrow with that, so I'll keep you informed on Futures issues. I attended my book club through the TNRD. I can't remember when that was, but over the last 2 weeks. I did go to the Posbon funeral, but I did it through the overflow at Crossroads. Not just the main sanctuary was completely full, but they had their dining room completely full as well. There was probably, from what I understand, about 850 to 900 people there. Hence the reason for the RCMP on the highway outside. They were parked everywhere. I seem to have a number of people in hospital lately, and I'm driving a lot to Kamloops and Kelowna. I've got a dear aunt that may not make it beyond the end of this week, and it's hard on me. I attended the budget workshop January 16th. For almost a good portion of the day, I watched the inauguration ceremonies of President Trump. I am not a Trump supporter, but he's the president, so I gave it a few hours. Other than that, I just want to mention that the Alpha program is continuing at the Crossroads Church, and I'm doing a lot of the cooking and cleaning for them, and that is about all I have here on my list. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Norgard.
So I too attended the business retention workshop and the budget meeting as well. We had a social planning committee meeting, and I just want to thank Councillor Getz for being part of that. I really appreciate his contribution. He keeps us seeing it from a very different perspective, and it's an important perspective. He also adds testosterone to a room full of estrogen, so I appreciate that. I also attended the Nicola Watershed Steering Committee meeting, and I'm sorry I'm going to be a little long-winded here on this one, because I want you guys to know what this committee has been doing and how it affects our community, because we put dollars towards it, and I want the community to know what their dollars do. So what the steering committee has been doing since 2012 is they've mapped and done the science to find out the way to best ameliorate milfoil in Nicola Lake. We have the plan. We know how to do it. We just need the funding to do the remediation. And there's not a lot of will out there to fund that. What it requires is divers going down, because we have natural milfoil in our lakes. We also can't remove all of the milfoil because it's fish habitat. So they've got a very good plan, very good study on how to deal with it. We just now need the funding to be able to send divers down and hand pick it. And I'm hoping that we can perhaps move forward at Silga with a motion to ask the provincial government to fund those kinds of things. What that means for the city of Merritt is it has an effect on both our economic development and our tourism. People do not want to come to lakes that are overgrown and infested with milfoil. It's unattractive and it's unpleasant to be there. So it has an effect on us. We also have the Nicola Fishwater Management Tool. It has been out there. It's essentially the fishwater management tool is simply an algorithm around when to release water from the Nicola Dam, how much to release and at what flow, in order to manage fish waters below the dam and waters in the dam. And that's already, it's going. We've done thermal refuge mapping from Merritt to Spias Creek, which means that we're looking at places in the Nicola River where the water temperature is such that fish, particularly salmonid fish, can survive, because the Nicola River tends to be too hot for salmon to survive. But it's not just surviving during the hot times, it's also surviving through freezes in the winter, so that the bed of the river doesn't freeze and the eggs don't freeze. That's been done. There's a new, also looking at the interaction between the groundwater and the river flow. It's interesting, the Merritt Watershed, our aquifer, is responsible for 14% of the inflow into the river, and that happens primarily in June and July. I asked the question about whether we should be paying attention to water restrictions during that time, because we are 14% of the water inflow into the Nicola River, and the scientists there said no, but we certainly should be paying attention to what we're taking out of our aquifer. The Nicola Valley is kind of like the canary in the coal mine for the southern interior. We have a very fragile and delicate watershed and aquifer, and things that happen here happen very quickly. And so when something happens here, it's going to happen every place else. But we have an amazing thing happening here through the Nicola Watershed Steering Committee. We have a research collaborative, which is something that has hardly ever been done before. Anybody that is doing research on our watershed or on our aquifer is getting together in a room and talking about it and sharing information, including our universities and educational institutions like NVIT, sharing the access to things. So the resource management students at NVIT can go out and do some of the work that we need to be done, like on blue-green algae mapping or such. So all of that stuff is happening, and it very, very seldom happens. So that's quite an amazing thing that has happened through this steering committee. They also have, we've done some sensitive habitat mapping, the state of the habitat along the Nicola River, in the riparian area. That has an effect for the city of Merritt, because we have a very sensitive area that is deteriorating around clay banks, and we've done some work with Flynn Row around how to deal with those houses there, that their backyards are disappearing into the Nicola River. And so this is important to us. We also done some groundwater mapping, because we don't actually know, or we didn't know, where our aquifers were. Merritt sits atop of a very shallow aquifer, but we also have a number of deep aquifers here too, and we don't understand the interaction between them. So that's being done. The next step in mapping the aquifers is from Merritt to the dam, to the Nicola Dam, and Merritt up to the headwaters of the Coquihalla, because it's a cold water river that refreshes our aquifer, not the Nicola River, and we need to be paying attention to that. Yeah. So those are kind of all the things that have been happening with that group. We're looking at moving forward. And lots of ideas come out of those steering committees, like there was a suggestion that as a council, we put forward any new development, have as a condition xenoscaping, so that water and drought sensitive plants are used in the landscaping of the property, so that we can pay attention to our very fragile and delicate aquifer.
Thank you. Councillor Prowl.
Thank you, Your Worship. We had the initial meeting of the Environment Committee on January the 18th, and that was a general discussion. So I'm going to reiterate some of the things that Councillor Norgard has said, because on the 19th, I attended the National Society meeting, and the guest speaker was Tracy Wimbush, Manager of Stewardship and Fisheries. And she made a presentation on the salmon in the Nicola Watershed. So a number of Chinook salmon are down considerably. There was a die-off 2 years ago because the river was too warm. It was 20 degrees. And I had no idea that so much research was being conducted on the Nicola, Coldwater, and Spias rivers. So I asked what could be done within the city limits, as the two rivers do pass through Merritt. And the response was threefold. Plant more trees to keep the river cooler for salmon. Alternately, you can take willow sticks and just shove them into the bank, and they will hold the bank and they will grow. It's amazing. Fertilizing Central Park and the golf courses causes too many nutrients to enter the water system, causing algae growth and suffocating eggs and fish. Fish, frogs, birds, and bats all rely on mosquitoes as a valuable food source to survive. Our resolve to eliminate mosquitoes decreases the ability of that wildlife to thrive. And that is it. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Can I say one more thing?
No.
Sorry, Your Worship, just as a general interest, our Cold Lake Air Force is on the way to, what did I say? Key Largo for a month.
Great, thank you. Before I start my report, I want to thank Councillor Getz for mentioning for us the memory of Mr. Moyes. Thank you very much, Councillor Getz. In January the 11th, I attended the Sense Board meeting. On the 12th, I attended the BRE workshop. I spent a little bit of time in the City Social Planning Committee, which was very interesting. On the 12th, had a very interesting meeting with the Community Rodeo Association and the Farm Fair Association, two groups that are like mixing fire and gas. It just, it was a very interesting meeting. It's two groups that have been in our community for many, many years on a piece of property that was a part of the Collettville Ranch, and they don't get along. So we've taken the position that they need to start getting along. I had a really good meeting with them. We're going to have another meeting next week, trying to get them to work together because we think it's beneficial to both of them. We also believe it's beneficial to the city of Merritt, and that we need to let bygones be bygones and let both of those two organizations flourish. So hoping that we can get them there. What started it, and I've heard a lot about it over the years, was the banner that goes up when you're coming into town up on the bench. So we're hoping that when this is all over, we can have a joint banner up there for both of those organizations to attend both of those functions on the Labor Day long weekend. So wish me luck. I have to say that every one of them that meeting were all women, so Menard was woof. But good, they're very good, and it's going to be interesting, and hopefully we'll be successful. I attended the Social Planning Committee meeting for a while as well, and that was, well, I think that was I was waiting for the rodeo and the Farm Fair group to come, and I sat in on that for a little bit too. The Thai Positive on Service, we all attended that, those of us that could. And again, thanks to the city, thanks to the RCMP, to the traffic department and everybody, that's just a fine job that they did. On the 16th, I attended the job fair. I spent a bit of time in the morning and a bit of time in the afternoon. I also had a meeting that day with Michelle Haddon on the transition group, just stating that she's very appreciative of our involvement with Mr. Bolvin and the folks here in town. And if there's anything that they can do to make sure that we let her know. A budget meeting in the evening on the 17th and 18th in Richmond. I attended the BCHL Board of Governor meetings, and I always report that here because I think they're a very integral part of the city, and that they should know some of the difficulties that are happening with our hockey team and some of the difficulties, and I want Merritt to know just how important our team is to this city. And I think it was touched on this evening by Councillor Baker that I believe this is the 44th year. We came into the league in 1973, and we're the longest standing team in the BCHL, and this league is noted as the best Junior A Tier 2 league in Canada. Very good meetings. On the 19th, I got back and I went to Kamloops to attend the TNRD meeting. Very good meeting. We dealt with a lot of stuff. We had the Minister of Health come and do a presentation to council, and he talked to us about the fentanyl problem, which you're dealing with, Chief, and the RCMP are dealing with, and it's a much bigger problem than, I worked in that field for many, many years, and I said to Minister Lake that today it's far worse than it was back when I was very much involved in that particular field. And the other thing that he touched on, which is very close, near and dear to our hearts, is the doctors and the shortages. And we, on behalf of council, I said that we are not happy here in Merritt. We're not happy with the hospital, what it can do, and we're not happy at all with the recruitment of doctors for our community. And I won't repeat what I said there, but I was very clear that it's an important issue for the city of Merritt. It's an important issue for our council. Councillor Christofferson has been working very, very hard on one of the doctors, but including all the difficulties we have with getting doctors here into the city of Merritt, because it's a wonderful community, and the delays that and the roadblocks they're putting up are totally unacceptable, which we said to Mr. Lake, and I told him really in very plain English that it was BS what was happening, and it needs to be taken care of, and we're going to continue to push to get doctors here and hopefully to improve at our hospital. We had a long session on the phone, myself and Councillor Christofferson with Jennifer Scrub, is that her proper name? Councillor Christofferson has done a lot of work, and she is now working with us and between the physicians and the College of Physicians and Surgeons, Minister Lake, and anybody else that we can make noise to make sure that that particular issue stays front and center for the city and for us as a council. We're not going to back off, and I know that all of our councilors are very, very supportive of us doing whatever we can to make sure that we make all the noise that we can and get doctors into our community and more done at our hospital. Moving right along, information items, there are 4. Is there anyone there that someone would like to make comment on? Councillor Brown.
I think I'm already on. I
Yeah,
forgot
you are,
to.
dear.
Sorry. I'd like to comment on one that isn't there, the CAO report. And I'd like to comment on it in terms of the budget projects. And I think when this report was first in its initial stages, and I assume it still is, but we're talking about one of the main purposes was for senior staff to be able to give us indication of projects that have been completed, projects that are not going to be completed, projects that are in process, which ones couldn't be done this year, moved into next year, and And I have to say, by the time the financial report comes along at the end of the year, there's an awful lot of ones that weren't reported. And I would like us to have a better grasp of that over the next year. There's nothing we can do about the past, but hopefully moving into the future, we can change that. Thanks.
Thank you. Anything further? Hearing none. Meeting is terminated. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, folks, for coming out and spending the evening with us.
Anyone else going to be going to this?
What is it?
Nicola Aboriginal Tears and it came to me through CFNV, because I'm on